more tired than me. But it's my great privilege and pleasure to be here this evening, and of course my gratitude to Mr. Batra and the Businessworld team for having me over for this literature festival, which is kind of ending. I am so sorry for whatever happens. Man proposes and Air India disposes. What do you do, guys? What do you do? So life is such, and the beauty of life is to go with the flow. I was sitting in the Amex lounge, and these guys were like, people around. When the biggest occupational hazard of being a public figure is selfies. It's an occupational hazard, trust me. People just bug you like every second. And lounges are no exception, so the best lounge to sit is an Amex lounge, it's very private. And you go and sit there, and everybody's coming for a picture. And my flight says gates closed. And my team is calling me and I'm discussing with them. And the Amex lounge butler says, "आप बहुत disturbed लग रहे हैं." मैं बोला, "Idiot, तू disturbed है, मैं नहीं. मैं बस sort out कर रहा हूँ जो." So life is such. Things happen. We can't be too worked up with stuff. We have to be a little patient. We have to be a little peaceful. Look at my face at the end of the day. I've been through a lot this entire afternoon, and look at my face. I'm still happy. I'm still joyful. I'm still smiling. And the reason for that is, you have to choose to smile. Life doesn't allow you to smile.
Yeah.
You have to choose to smile. You know what? Anger happens automatically. Shutting our mouth up when anger happens is a choice that we have to make. How many of you opened your mouth and regretted when you were angry? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. One lady was asking her husband, when you're like really wild and like crazy wild, what do you do to vent out your anger on me? She's asking, the husband's asking the wife. The husband's asking the wife, when you're like really wild at me, what do you do to vent out your anger on me? The wife said, "Well, I clean the toilet." The husband said, "How does cleaning the toilet vent out your anger on me?" Well, she said, "I cleaned it with your toothbrush." The next morning you get some real good Listerine effects in your mouth. I'm so sorry about that. I'll tell you what, anger just happens automatically. Keeping peace is a choice. Negativity happens automatically. Being positive is a choice. Hatred happens automatically. Love is a choice. Problems happen automatically. Happiness is a choice. Situations do what they do. Keeping your peace is a choice, and I've chosen peace every split second since 1:30 this afternoon as I reach here now. I've chosen peace over being angry, over being worked up, over being frustrated. What's the point? I can't change anything anyways, and I'm ruining my peace. I haven't allowed Air India. I haven't allowed a single person who came to me. I must have taken 600 pictures by now. 600 people must have taken a picture by now. I didn't allow a single person, a single situation to ruin my peace, because I am responsible for my peace, not they. They'll anyways do what they do. I have to choose how to be peaceful or not, right? And which is precisely why, guys, it's all about making that
choice.
Thank you, madam. You're absolutely very vocal about it. And I love it. Thank you. Oh man, it's been a journey, definitely. How many of you guys fly? Of course all of us. Not like a bird. Like on an airplane, obviously. All of us fly. And how many of you can, with a hand on your heart, say that the takeoff of the flight's not in our control at all? Can't do anything about it. I was flying from Russia, Moscow, to Ukraine, Kiev. Not now. अभी fly करता तो जिंदा थोड़ी आता है. This is 2005. I was flying from Moscow to Kiev, and I was flying on Aeroflot Airlines. I mean, what an airline, guys. I mean, what an airline. Tough competition to Air India today, trust me. I come on board the flight and the stewardess said to me, "Welcome on board, sir, we guarantee takeoff." I said, "Landing, madam?"
No landing now.
She said, "You're a monk, it's important to pray." Takeoff not in our control. Is the landing in our control? Absolutely not in our control. Imagine a foggy Delhi. Imagine an insanely foggy Delhi. Why I'm going to stay on stage, it's so boring there. Imagine an insanely foggy Delhi. I mean, thankfully this Vistara flight landed, otherwise you guys would have been waiting. I don't know why have you waited for so long. I have no clue why you guys have waited. You've been struggling to go through the entire day, and I'm sure you had a meaningful day. Make some noise if you had a good day, guys.
Yeah.
Lovely, lovely. And imagine the flight didn't land because of the fog. Just the fog. So many flights since last 5 days have been diverted to Jaipur. The landing is not in our control either, guys. Not in our control. Right?
We are lucky to have you, sir.
Oh, I'm so blessed to have you here and say that for me. Thank you so much.
It's a great treat for us.
Oh, I love that. Such a sweet family mood here. It looks like I'm chatting. I'm a talker and and that's the best part of it. I hate that talk kind of seminar mood. So we can just chat, talk, just flow with the. In America they call it the flow state. It's called the flow state. When you're in your absolute elements and flow. But you can only be in your absolute elements and flow when you don't prepare.
Yes.
When you come with slides and pointers and points, bloody hell, you can't be in that flow state. If you want to be in the flow state, I'm really good, thank you. Can I have a piece of chocolate if you guys allow me?
Yes,
I need to have sugar before I go on stage. Recently I got a severe blackout for about a minute. And since then the doctor has asked me to take sugar. My last meal was at 1:30, a bowl of salad. So I think I need to pop in something. Isn't the craziest thing to do a speaker reach in front of the audience? Guys, I'm having chocolate.
Have to eat
Absolute informal. Love it. I'm loving it. That the guys here allow me to eat chocolate as I'm speaking. That means not in our control, guys. Absolutely not in our control. There should be three fears people had. Biggest fears. Number one was the fear of public speaking. Any of you guys had it?
No.
Wow. Join me.
We don't have.
Join my academy. Wow. Second is the fear of death. Anyone?
No, not at all.
Okay, we get it done.
I'm ready.
Let me get it done. You see then. Number three is the fear of flying. Anybody?
No.
No?
Not at all.
It is the fear of flying.
Should we join?
Fear of flying with no guarantee of landing.
I have fear of flying on Air India.
Ah, yeah. People have the fear of flying. That's probably why they call an airport a terminal. I don't know. Possibly. I really don't know. Those three fears have completely been replaced now. The first fear is your phone's battery dying. The second is a poor Wi-Fi signal with that one danda below. And the third is that Sudarshan Chakra still buffering when you watch Netflix. Bloody, you can't watch anything, you know, continuously like this. They promise 5G, it's not even 1G. Oh. But yeah. Takeoff's not in our control, landing's not in our control, and in between the takeoff and landing there's a lot of turbulence. And the turbulence is not in our control either. It's just not in our hands. Can't do anything about it. Right? And I think life is such. The takeoff is not in our control, our birth. I mean, how many of you guys chose your parents, guys? None of us. It happened. None of us. Any of you guys chose your looks, guys?
No.
None of us. Nobody looks as beautiful as their Instagram DP. And nobody looks as ugly as their Aadhaar card picture. I don't know, I think I'll just get a good picture on the Aadhaar card. I mean, why should I look like a criminal, man? Make me look good. Can't do anything about it. And landing, which is death. I mean, any flight that takes off must land, and any life that begins must end. How can you expect life to go on perennially? To expect life will go on perennially is like saying a flight will continue flying in the sky, in the air all the time. It just doesn't happen, guys. Landing must happen. Landing must happen, and it's not in our control unless someone emergency lands the flight, which is suicide. Which is one becomes so absolutely hopeless and frustrated with the machinations of the mind, I just can't handle it. But I really don't think it's about birth or death. It doesn't even matter, these things. It's about in between that birth and death, there's so much turbulence, guys. Man, the amount of turbulence. And that turbulence is what we call problems. Any of you guys have problems in your life?
Everyone.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the guys who are not raising their hands, they expect me to believe them. No problem.
They're unmarried.
They're unmarried.
Oh my. Mr. Batra said it, I did. I did as a monk.
He is married now. He is also married.
But on the Independence Day, once somebody sent me that long message. You know, they have messages and you have these little dots below. Like 100 dots and then it says scroll below to read. Like such a frustration. You go through all this dot. What do you read for? He said, read this message, scroll down only if you're single. I said, I'm qualified. So I went down, it was 15th of August. At the bottom it said, Happy Independence Day. Wow. Hilarious. I'll tell you what, each one of us has challenges and problems. You know? मौत को तो लोग यूं ही बदनाम करते हैं जी. मौत को तो लोग यूं ही बदनाम करते हैं, वैसे तकलीफ जिंदगी से है.
Yes.
Death is once, guys, you drop dead, done. One, death is an event, life is a journey. Events happen and they're gone. Marriage is an event, wedding is an event, marriage is a journey. The event of the wedding will be done, the marriage is what you have to take care of. And that's how birth and death are, their events. Life is a journey. मौत को तो लोग यूं ही बदनाम करते हैं, वरना तकलीफ
जिंदगी देती है.
जिंदगी से है ना ये, है ना? ऐ जिंदगी
गले
गले लगा ले, हमने भी तेरे हर एक गम को गले से लगाया है ना? ऐ जिंदगी गले लगा ले. Can you imagine? अरे मौत से नहीं है दिक्कत, जिंदगी से है दिक्कत. लैंडिंग से नहीं है प्रॉब्लम, लैंडिंग इवेंट है. टर्बुलेंस से है प्रॉब्लम, क्योंकि लैंडिंग तो 5 सेकंड में हो जाएगा. टर्बुलेंस कितने 10-10 घंटे की चलती है इंटरनेशनल फ्लाइट्स में. और यही तो दिक्कत है ना. प्रॉब्लम्स, चैलेंजेस, इश्यूज. Oh man, so many issues. Personal health issues. I got a blackout in an interview on a television interview. I was in the middle of an interview. And the host has asked me a question, I'm answering this like 30th of December. I'm answering the question and I blacked out. Unconscious for a moment with my eyes open. Completely gone, no cognition. And I got back and I started answering the question as if it was normal. It so felt in me कि वापस आया शुरू हो गया जहाँ से छूटा था वो. What happens? Any of you have any health issues, guys? No?
Yeah.
No, all very healthy, right? Oh God. Oh my God. It's one of those things. And then you have these other people, like one lady went to a doctor, the doctor said, ma'am, how's your headache? She said, he's out of town. I know. Bigger than the headache is people who are a headache. How many of you guys agree on that?
Yeah.
How many of you agree that people are a bigger headache? Toxic people? Toxic people, crappy, shitty, toxic people who are just there to make your life a bloody mess are a greater headache than headache. You can manage a headache with an aspirin, you can manage a headache with some pranayama. How do you manage this shitty, guys?
What is it?
Detachment.
अरे बाबा ये तो बहुत फिलोसफर का मुझे बुलाया कि मैडम आप चलिए ना. telling you guys. These people are a menace, aren't they at times? How many of you have been victims of workplace politics? Any of you? Okay, thank you. Okay, those of you who are not raising your hands, they're saying, sir, politics करने वाला बगल में बैठा है, आप कैसे उठाए? Sorry, just joking. I tell you what, just how life is, isn't it? People are such a trouble sometimes. Such a trouble. My body is giving me trouble. People are giving me trouble. The impending recession. Can you imagine the impending recession? Think about the SMEs and MSMEs. For them to break even? I mean, in such an impending recession, those who are up there will somehow stay afloat. But look at these SMEs and MSMEs. How do they even keep going? And their financial liabilities? How do they even manage that kind of stuff? जी टर्बुलेंस होती है फ्लाइट में. कभी कोविड के वजह से रिसेशन होता है, कभी लीमन ब्रदर्स की वजह से होता है. कोई तो है, कुछ तो करता है. और उससे जो टर्बुलेंस आती है ना, लोगों की जिंदगी में मेस करा देती है. It's like that. Too much, guys. Too much. These financial liabilities, impending recession. People want to make more money, but are just unable to get there. कितनी anxiety, कितनी stress, कितना pressure. One guy told his son, "Look, I want you to get married to the girl of my choice." He said, "No way, Dad." So, well, she's the daughter of Bill Gates. Done, Dad, done. Done, Dad, done. The guy went to Bill Gates and said, "I want you to get your daughter married to my son." Bill Gates said, "No way." This man said, "Well, he is the CEO of World Bank." Bill Gates said, "Done." The guy then went to the president of World Bank and said, "I want you to appoint my son as the CEO of the World Bank." He said, "No way." He said, "He's the son-in-law of Bill Gates." Oh man, must have been a Marwadi guy. ऐसा दिमाग लड़ा था ना. I was walking in London once in the streets and I saw a T-shirt which said, "Please do not disturb." And right below, in much larger letters, was written, "Already disturbed."
I'm married.
मैं आपको एक बात बताऊं जी, हम लोग ना बहुत disturbed state में जी. There's no peace of mind. There's no calm. सुकून नहीं है बस. पैसा आ गया, स्टेटस भी आ गया, और स्टेटस को चला के रखने में सुकून नहीं है बस. जिनकी नींद नहीं सो पा रहे. Tossing, turning, can't sleep. If I sleep, behold, it's like half asleep. All those same things of the day are just on the surface of my mind. Guys, is that what life is meant for?
No.
Paying taxes, 42% with surcharge. 42% bloody hell. 42% taxes with surcharge. इसके लिए जिंदगी टैक्स भरने के लिए, मॉर्गेज भरने के लिए, फाइनेंशियल लायबिलिटीज क्लियर करने के लिए, और वो करते करते नींद नहीं आने के लिए, वो करते करते सुकून नहीं है, शांति नहीं है, पीस नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है. जी क्यों नहीं यार? जी क्यों नहीं?
आपको सुनने के लिए.
अरे क्या बात है, क्या बात है. उस्ताद बैठे हैं आज. I'm loving it. I'm telling you. Your audience has given me double the energy of what I lost. Just 9 बजने आ रहे, अभी भी इतनी energy.
This is the positive vibes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. बहुत disturbance में जीते हैं.
You're at peace.
ये disturbance होती रहती है. And will there ever be a single day There won't be a reason, a stimulus, a cause, a trigger for being disturbed. Will there be a single day in your life? एक दिन, क्या एक दिन ऐसा कोई होगा जिंदगी में जहाँ डिस्टर्ब रहने के लिए कोई कारण नहीं? There will always be something, somewhere that's going to be bothersome. It could be the delay of a flight. It could be a co-passenger that's doing what it's doing. It could be a spouse. It could be a child. It could be a boss. It could be a colleague. It could be no individual, just the traffic, the smog, the cold in Delhi. There's going to be something to keep our mind disturbed every single day. Every single day. और हम लोग ना यहाँ इसलिए नहीं आए, लाइफ डिस्टर्ब मोड में जीनी नहीं चाहिए. We shouldn't live our life in mode of disturbed, being disturbed. The last thing you want to do is live a life just drag along, going on inside, work up, disturbed, frustrated, anxious, worried, stressed, pressurized, fearful, insecure, envious. We can add to more to the list. रात चली जाएगी लिस्ट पूरी नहीं होगी. ये सारे नेगेटिव इमोशंस के नहीं. और एक बात बताऊं, ये सब बोलने के बाद एक बात तो पक्का बोल सकता हूँ, ये सब होने वाला है, हो रहा है, होगा और होता रहेगा, क्योंकि दुनिया ऐसी है. The world is such. Don't you think that I read this book, Energize Your Mind, and things will all be sorted out? ऐसा नहीं होता, ऐसा नहीं होता. दुनिया तो प्रॉब्लम्स करेगी, और हम इंसान हैं, we human beings. As human beings, being affected is absolutely normal. I was in Singapore doing this event called the Masters of the Century. They reminded me there's about a line of about 10 speakers, there's an audience of 1,500, 2,000 young guys. Not a single Indian in the crowd. And I love addressing such audiences. When there's no single Indian in the crowd, that's the challenge. That's when I test myself. Because Indian audience तो मैं आ गया तो हुआ कर रहा है. कुछ करने का जरूरत नहीं, मैं आ जाऊँ से करते हो लोग. उधर ऐसा नहीं है ना. That's where you test yourself. How everything you say really connects, makes sense. So I went up on stage, I did what I do, completely in my flow state. People were cracking up, laughing, enjoying the whole event. I finished mine. I was very satisfied with what I did. And as I went backstage, the entire audience started shouting, Sophia! 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 Look at that. एनकोर करना है तो गौर गोपाल बोलना चाहिए ना. मैं अभी टॉक दे के गया, अगर उनको वंस मोर बोला तो गौर गोपाल बोलना चाहिए ना. ये क्या सोफिया बोल रहे हो? तो फिर मुझे लगा कि because the lineup of speakers was a very impressive lineup, so I thought maybe a Sofia Vergara, modern family. I thought Sofia Vergara को बुलाया होगा. So I went backstage to the green room, and these two hefty bodyguards with like biceps rippling out of their shirts, like their pecs like rippling bodies. They were standing there, and sensing my confusion that possibly Sofia Vergara is here, they asked, "Sir, would you like to see Sofia?" बोला सोफिया वर्गारा को कब मिलूंगा मैं, तो ऐसा चलते. And then as I walked through those winding corridors behind to go to the green room where she was, I was trying to recollect any modern family reference I could to tell her, Madam, मैंने देखा है. You know, so I was kind of thinking if I could tell her this. I couldn't remember anything. So I decided to do my regular monk self. तो अपने जैसे रहता चलेगा. गया मैं वहाँ, तो उसके दरवाजे के सामने दो और ऐसे खड़े तगड़े. तो मैं बोला मैडम सोफिया, no she's just getting plugged in. plugged in ये कौन सा नया सिंगापुरियन स्लैंग है? And I know that sometimes you in the modern language you use a variety of words, like you say he was zoned out, like he's zoning out, you know, and he was ruffling. The kind of words people use now, it's a very different jargon. Like you never say, when you text, say coming in 5 hours, 5 minutes, 5 days, coming in 5. How many of you done that? Coming in 5? I also do, madam. I'm a very modern guy, the youngest in the crowd here. Coming in 5. Right. We do that kind of stuff, the kind of language we use. You know, 5 avatars. We use all that kind of language. Coming in 5, doing this, doing that. Oof. I will never say I'm going to come at 9:30. That's such a primitive language. Can I come at 9:30? कौन बोलता है? Let's meet at 9:30. That's such a silly language I feel. Such outdated, obsolete, primitive language. Can I come? I'll see you at 9:30. That's like so good, like so British. Can we meet at 9:30? Lovely, lovely. Let's do that. Sounds so cool, right? So this. मैं बोला प्लग इन मतलब क्या होता है? जैसे मैं कभी स्पीकर हूँ, ये देविका मैडम, माय गॉड ये फोन पे इतनी रोई आज, इतनी रोई कि इवेंट कैंसिल हो रहा है। वो मेरा सेक्रेटरी मुझे बोलता है कि फोन थोड़ा उनको बात करना है आपसे। सो सेक्रेटरी के सामने तो रोई रही थी वो, फिर मेरे सामने भी शी स्टार्टेड क्राइंग, सर वी हैव टू डू समथिंग। बोला द्रौपदी इतनी रोई थी कृष्ण। She was so emotional and desperate to have this. So desperate to have this, and I'm like, my God, how sincere is that? Huh? So keen. I said, how sincere is that? And then just hearing her tears, I said, at the point I was thinking, I'm just going to drop it and go back. It's normal to do this stuff. Normal to commit to an event and cancel if hiccups happen. I've done it before. And not because I didn't want to, there are serious hiccups. I mean, it's a normal part of the game for a public figure to cancel events. But ये बेचारी इतनी तीव्रता से, मैं कहता जो भी हो जाए, कोई एक आदमी भी नहीं बैठेगा सामने, ये भी बैठेगी ना सही सामने, मैं आके पूरे फुल फॉर्म में हूँ। She was despo. She was very despo. I mean, you are, but she can't do the So then she came and she's in the car, and it's my protocol that I don't have anybody sitting in the car before I go up on stage. So this poor lady, she had to kind of juggle with that other driver who disappeared somewhere. तू किधर है, कहाँ है, पीछे कैसे वैसे मिल गए, and then I came. And the reason I need that space is called plugging in. You just need to plug into your feelings, into yourself, because you don't want to talk to anybody before you go up on stage because you're getting in that zone. Right? So I thought Sophia must be doing stuff like that, plugging in. ऐसा लगा मुझे. बोला some speakers plug in devices before they speak. So वैसा होगा. तो मैं बोला Sophia Vergara is here? I said, who's Sophia Vergara? Body language. Sophia Vergara है ना? उसको अंदर कौन है? तो as he was answering, they brought outside a robot. And the first humanoid on planet Earth whose name is Sophia. And when they said plugged in, वो literally plug लगा रहे थे. Literally they were plugging her in. और ऐसे उठा के लेकर आए. Stage पे ऐसे उठा के लेके आए. She wore a pink shirt and black skirt. And the only one thing we had in common both of us was we were both bald. You can Google Sophia right now. Sophia, the humanoid, will say she's bald. Right, she's bald. So I even have a picture with her. We could put it in the book. तो ऑथेंटिसिटी होना चाहिए ना कि मैं मिला भाई नहीं तो बोले कोई भी स्टोरी बोलता है कुछ आजकल तो स्टोरी कोई भी कुछ बनाता है नैरेटिव फॉर्म करना बहुत इजी है अच्छा ऐसे So we stood there to the picture. And Sophia went up on stage. The electrical engineer in me was like, oh, all set. Marvel of human intelligence. She came on stage and spoke. And the 50 plus expressions that she gave, smile, eyes moved, eyebrows moved, she moved her head, she moved her hands. And she was impressive. They asked her a question. They asked her a question and they answered in such impressive way. And guess what? All of her facial expressions, all of her movements, all of the answers were programmed into her. She's not a human. She's a humanoid. And as a humanoid doesn't have any feelings. Whereas a human being does feel feelings. When your flight is delayed, you can get frustrated. Put Sophia there, उसको क्या frustrated? उसको frustration दिखाने के लिए भी plug in करना पड़ता है. Plug in करेंगे तो ऐसे करेंगे. Even for her to show frustration, you need to be plugged in. You need to be plugged in to be frustrated, show frustration. No, because that's the difference between a humanoid and a human being. Humans feel. Artificial intelligence doesn't feel. Real intelligence does. And trust me, that is precisely the reason for why we are disturbed all the time. सोफिया को कुछ नहीं होता है, लेकिन आप सब और हम सब सोफिया से कितने बेटर है, क्योंकि हमको जिंदगी जीने का अवसर है, उसको कोई अवसर नहीं है, हमको ग्रो करने का अवसर है, उसके पास ग्रो करने का कोई अवसर नहीं है, हमें जो हम हैं वैसे किसी को दिखाने का अवसर है, उसको तो जैसे प्रोग्राम किया है वैसे ही वो अपने आप को दिखाती है। दोस्तों, हम लोग इंसान हैं, और इंसान है तो ये सब होगा ना, दुख होगा, खुशी होगी। If you are promoted, will you be elated? Of course you will. If you are put on the bench, will you be sad? If you get a pink slip, who said no?
Not pink slip.
Okay, on the bench. Okay. If you got a pink slip, will you be sad? If you are not sad, you are ready for sannyas, man. I'll tell you what. If your wife yells at you, will you feel good? If your husband is cheating on you when he goes to Phuket, will you feel good? Sophia. Who? Yes, but basically, despite doing wrong, the feeling is still there. It could be the feeling of guilt that I did wrong. It could be the feeling of frustration that I messed up, but the feeling is still there. The feeling of annoyance, the feeling of frustration, the feeling of guilt, the feeling of anger, the feeling of depression, the feeling of sadness. क्योंकि है तो हम इंसान.
Thank God we have your video.
Oh, thank you, sir. I love all that stuff. और इसीलिए मैंने ये किताब लिखी, Energize Your Mind. क्योंकि our entire experience of our life is based on how we deal with our mind. मैं संन्यास बिल्कुल नहीं, मैं थोड़ी संन्यास का बात भी नहीं करने का था. And by the way, sannyas is not a cloth, it's a mindset. It's a mindset. Monk is a mindset. Monk is not a set of clothes. If you have a monk mindset, you could be sitting on the chair of the CEO and be a better monk than one who's dressed like this. Monk and sannyas is here. This is just an uniform. Like Navy has a uniform, Army has a uniform. So I have a uniform too where people can identify that here's a man whom I can go to if this is the issue. This is another uniform. A monk has nothing to do with this uniform. It's a mindset. And you guys all can be the most amazing monks if you crack that mindset. Right? But that's exactly why I wrote Energize Your Mind, and I'm going to conclude with a couple of minutes. Is that alright? इतनी दूर से आया हूँ तो अभी बोल ही लेता हूँ थोड़ा. हाँ जी? Yeah, I'll finish another 10 minutes, 5-8 minutes. No, I'm good. I'm good. I just needed it for my. No. बोलते ऐसा अजीब sir. I'll take it later. Thank you so much, Anurag sir. इसीलिए लिखी मैंने किताब Energize Your Mind. Because John Milton said that The mind is such a place that it can turn heaven into hell and hell into heaven. You could be in the most heavenly surroundings. Imagine a guy being in a presidential suite of Ritz-Carlton in Bangalore. Now, if you've stayed in the presidential suite of Ritz-Carlton, you'll know what I mean. If you haven't, don't worry. Don't worry. You stay in the presidential suite of Ritz-Carlton. The guy is in the presidential suite of Ritz-Carlton with a butler standing there 24/7 to see what his needs are. And that's where he gets to know that his girlfriend has rejected him or his wife is filed for divorce. The state of mind changes. And once the state of mind changes, the most heavenly luxuries become hellish. And imagine you're staying in a dharmashala somewhere. In some Haridwar, you went to Haridwar for something, like a choultry kind of stuff. It's like a small little dilapidated room which is leaking. There's bugs and cockroaches and rodents there. And you get the news that you've been appointed the Europe head for your organization. State of mind changes. And even the rodent is okay. अभी यूरोप जाना है अंदर चले गए चूहा ये तो ठीक है इधर चूहा उधर जाएगा ऑरलैंडो मिकी माउस देखने तो चूहा you know, and that's how it is. The mind is powerful. It changes the entire game. It's not so much what is happening to you, it's how you are processing it, because what's happening is happening to everybody. Why is it that some people are more peaceful than others? Why is it that some people's mental immunity and mental metabolism is better than others? Why is it some guys go to the gym and can pump their muscle easily and others find it hard? Why is it? Why is it we feel people are more resilient, yet others are more affected? Why is it that some people get less affected, some people get more affected?
It's a mindset.
Because of the mindset. You go to the gym, your metabolism increases, your capacity increases the more you lift weights. It doesn't happen on day one. It's a gym. You have to go. You have to start slow. You have to start small. And that's when you increase your capacity. This morning I've done my first set of squats with 120 kilos for 15 reps. I did my second set of squats. With 160 kilos for 12 reps.
Very nice.
And I did my third set of squats with 180 kilos for 10 reps. 10 reps. My fitness trainer is with me. वो अलग-अलग फ्लाइट पे है. कल भी जिम में जाऊंगा. In this mad schedule, trotting all over the place. कल भी जिम में जाऊंगा. क्यों? क्योंकि मालूम है नहीं करूँगा ना अफेक्ट हो जाएंगे. और जब जिम में स्टार्ट किया तब 10 किलो का स्क्वाट मुश्किल होता था. 10 किलो का बारबेल लेके स्क्वाट करना मुश्किल होता था. आज 180 किया है.
ये आपने
जिम्मेदारी निभाई, रोज किया है. रोज करने से तो कैपेसिटी बढ़ेगी ना. अगर आप एक इंसान को देखें जो 10 किलो नहीं उठा सकता है और एक इंसान को देखें जो 180 किलो उठा सकता है, उसमें अंतर क्या है? ये शुरू नहीं किया है, इसमें शुरू किया है. ये अगर शुरू करके करता रहे वो भी 180 किलो उठाएगा. That's the gym of the mind to do, guys. If you don't start and you don't work on it, you're not getting anywhere. So start small, start slow, and increase your capacity. You're not going to change overnight. Nothing's going to change overnight. Energize Your Mind was written to brace you with these abilities, brace you with this capacity. Whether it's guilt or depression or overthinking or handling criticism, just some thoughts that I had in my mind and experiences that I had in my mind. I put them all together so that we can start working out in the mental gym. It's only by working out that our capacity to handle those triggers will increase. वो वजन जब आएगा ना तो उसको वापस उठाने का कैपेसिटी तब आएगा जब रोज थोड़ा करके बढ़ाएंगे. गुस्सा आता है ना, बड़ा गुस्सा आएगा तो शांत रहने के लिए कौन बोल रहा है? चिल्लाओ, इमीडिएटली तो नहीं होने वाला। छोटी चीज होती है, वेटर 5 मिनट लेट लेकर आया ना, वही तो है जिम की ट्रेनिंग स्टार्ट होती है। छोटी छोटी चीजों में संयम रखना शुरू करो, बड़ी बड़ी चीजों में धीरे धीरे आ जाएगा। बड़ी चीज में शुरू करेंगे तो 180 किलो कैसे उठेगा? How are we going to be able to do that? Start with small things. Take the small breaks. Pause for 5 minutes a day. You're not going to get a whole break day in this crazy mad schedule that you lead. Pause for a few minutes daily. थोड़ा, 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 थोड़ा करके 180 किलो जरूर उठाएंगे आप. And this is why I wrote this book, Energize Your Mind. And along with this book, we Energize Your Mind, we thought it would be silly to just give a book and some philosophy. We're good to give some tools, which is why we came up with the app, which is called Monkeify. And we called it Monkeify because we said Monkeify your life without having to be a monk. You don't have to be a monk to Monkeify your life. And the entire app was about this. That you deal with some emotions. What if we could give some affirmations to you which you can say to yourself daily? What if we could give you some, what if we could give you some therapy online, on the app? What if we could give you some pointers with which you can put yourself with a little extra strength to look that way? What if we could just give you some tales to make you sleep a little more peacefully? What if we could give you some unwind with sound music where you can just sit in your office for 8 minutes and unwind when you feel so much pressure? What if we have something on the go? And that's precisely what the concept behind Monkeify was, that along with the book Energize Your Mind, we also need some tools which can then kind of go hand in hand and help us deal with our mind. Because like John Menton said, the mind by itself is a place that can turn heaven into hell and hell into heaven. You've been an amazing audience at 9:30. Thank you all very much, ladies and gentlemen. Very good.
Thank you so much. Your chocolate now.
Oh no, good, I'll have it
And
later.
I got you some avocado on
Avocado.
all cooking people.
Lovely, thank you.
While we settle in, first of all, gratitude to you for keeping your commitment, making the extra effort. And Devika is among the most talented colleagues I have. So thank you for that. Thank you.
I hope I didn't embarrass you too much.
No. I saw it right. I said, "Don't tell me of it." And thank you. So many than Devika. Anyway, I want to ask you one or two questions from your book. The book is broadly into 4 sections.
Right.
First is your mind,
Me and
my
my
mind, and the software story is the first. Then is others and my mind, and then is my mind, other people's mind, and then is the mind in the universe. Right. So again, you talk about various things in the book. Which is your favorite chapter?
My favorite chapter. Yeah, my favorite chapter is when this gentleman called me the person responsible for my father's death and how I processed that. That wasn't the part that was favorite. It was how I processed it, how I dealt with the memories of what he had said when I saw him next. It was intense. Imagine that you've been called the cause of your father's death when your father's dead body is in the crematorium waiting to be cremated, and this man has the guts to say that he is responsible for his father's early death. It was shattering to hear such kind of humiliation in front of people. I don't think anybody can be humiliated that bad. So the event was very painful, very shattering. And then of course came the point when he was at an event, the same gentleman, sitting in the front row, and I'm on stage. And suddenly as soon as his people all over sitting there, 1,000+ people, and the sight of this man took me back down the memory lane. How many of you had this experience that when you see a face, everything goes back there, a face that has just been responsible for the mess that something is happening in your life? And you could be surrounded by the best things and then the state of mind changes suddenly because of that one face. And there were 999 guys out there who were cheering for me, rooting for me, rooting that I do well, rooting that I entertain them, rooting that I enliven them. And this is one guy sitting in front who had said this, that I was the cause of my father's early death. And he had done what he had done. Trust me, the mind immediately just went down, the whole thing. My mind was now at my father's funeral and what he had said and how I had felt. And then I said, man, if I don't come back to where I am, I'm ruining the expectation of 999 people. How many people have this experience that there's 999 people saying good things about you? One person says bad, your attention is on the bad. Have you had that experience? Isn't it so funny that couldn't we focus on the 999 guys who are rooting for us and we just focusing on that one guy who's trying to drag us down? Just how life is, just how the mind works. You know what? It just pulls us down into this pits of depravity. Oh, and which is why sharing these experiences in this book has made me a little vulnerable. And it's because I've put out my weak points. I haven't put myself on a pedestal as a guru. I put myself out as a friend who has gone through such emotions, a friend who has processed these things, and a friend who's willing to share what worked for him. Maybe it may work for you. That was the purpose of the book. And in that chapter I remember writing this. Oh man, to shift my attention from that one guy to the 99 guys who were cheering for me. And I did it. I shut that window. I did it. I focused on those 999 guys, thinking that it's over. Got back to my room, laid down. And when you don't process anything fully, it comes back up again. And then when those things started coming back, how I dealt with it is one of the chapters in the book. So that's one of my favorite parts of it.
You know, there are lots of other celebrated authors and eminent people in the room. So rather than me asking, Prakash Iyer is here from Pune, and I requested Prakash to ask a question. Prakash, why don't you ask His Grace Shri Gaur Gopal Das a question?
This is taking me by surprise, but I'll stay calm based on the advice that you have for us.
Thank you.
No, but like everybody else, super delighted to be listening to you. I just have a quick question, and you used the word monkeyfy, and I thought that's a lovely phrase. How would you explain monkeyfy to someone if you say, what does that really mean? So what are 3 or 4 things that would mean that you monkeyfied your mind?
Correct. Have you heard of the app Healthify?
Yeah.
And what's it all about? Working on your health. Have you heard about the app Happyfy? What is it all about? Making your life happier. If you hear the word monkeyfy, what would that mean? Not turning into a monk, but trying to get the monk mindset. The monk mindset to deal with life's challenges. And trust me, there hasn't been a better mindset in the world than a monk's mindset. Because a monk's mindset is a monk mindset that you step back uninvolved and look at life. Whereas when you're in the world out there, constantly so much integrated with the world, everything is very biased. My opinions are biased, my ideologies can be biased. And which is why even me, as a practitioner of a certain faith, I could be biased. But a monk shouldn't even be a particular faith. A monk mind should step back from a faith. I'm not a Hindu, I'm not a Krishna Bhakta, I'm not a no one. Right? I'm just practicing a monk. I'm a practicing monk who's disconnected from my job, disconnected from the perks that come along, disconnected from everything to look at life from a bird's eye view. Right? So when we say monkeyfy your life, it means that we help people to try and get that perspective by stepping back. You know, when you're too involved with something, it's very hard to find solutions. When you're too involved with something, it's very hard to find the key to the lock. But when you step a little bit, I'm sure you must have experienced this. I don't know how many of you have gone through this. They're looking for something in your room, maybe your passport when you're going to travel, and you just can't, for heaven's sake, find it. You broad your drawers, empty your closets, you just can't find it. And then somebody says, just chill, sit down, breathe. You sit down and breathe, and just first calm the mind down a little bit. And with that same mindset, when you go to look for it, suddenly you say it was right there. It was just there. So what happens is when you cultivate a monk mindset, it just helps you gain some perspective without being too actively involved with something. I was with Mark Benioff in San Francisco. I'd gone to speak at their Salesforce headquarters in Mexico. And I met Mr. Benioff. We had a meeting, personal meeting. And Mr. Benioff said, one of the things that I really want in my organization is that each and every single person who works for Salesforce must look at their work with a perspective. The problem is politics doesn't allow them to see that, because they get affected by what others are doing. Toxic people don't allow them to get that perspective, because people are just affecting them the way they are. Sometimes attachment to that project doesn't allow them to, because 10 other people in the boardroom are opposing your opinion, and you're so attached that it should be this way. It just doesn't give you perspective. So in order to be able to make clear decisions, in order to be able to see from an objective point of view, not a subjective point of view, it's very important to just step back. So Mark Benioff said to me, that's the reason they created at Salesforce headquarters. I went and saw that. Every floor of their 4 massive buildings there, every floor has a mindfulness space where their employees can just enter into that mindfulness space and practice mindfulness. What is mindfulness? He took that idea from Tibetan Buddhism. Just to sit and step back. And there are people who can train them, they can do what they like in their mindfulness. There are people who can train them to just take that step back. That is what I call the monk mindset. In fact, in San Francisco, they have a festival every year called Dreamforce. Salesforce organizers. It's a 7 days event. 10,000 professionals, white-collar professionals from across the United States come there, top-notch professionals. Of several streets are shut down for those days. And one day is called the Mindfulness Day, where 10,000 people are sitting and some monk comes up on stage and just teaches them how to meditate. Why? It's not about the religious stuff. It's just about this one little thing. Take a step back. Because as soon as you take a step back, you're in a better position to see things with clarity. That's exactly what Monkey Fire is all about. Thank you.
You must be tired. You must be tired, so don't want to keep you away.
Sure.
But Nikhil Arora, who's also an author and spoke in the day, is the CEO of GoDaddy in India. He's into mindfulness and well-being.
Oh, lovely.
And would like to ask you a question, Nikhil.
Thank you, first of all, embracing the occasion and being so light-hearted in such deep topics. My question, in your book you talk about deleting old memories. If you could just share some perspective of, most of the time you actually have the bad memories stay more stronger than the good memories, and how do you work on those memories, because the memories don't go away.
Right.
But how do you manage them through?
Right. You know what? When I was a young boy, my father was like a die-hard cricket fan. Like in India, who's not kind of a question you would ask. But so my dad was like a real bad cricket fan. And if there was a match on a Sunday morning, he would sit in front of the television watching cricket. And my mom would absolutely hate that, because she would want a helping hand. Remember, I'm talking about 30, 35 years or back, when help wasn't all that like a common thing. You would have help for basic things. We wouldn't like have 10 people to help you at home, so ladies would have to do what they had to do. So my mom would like really get frustrated. She would yell at my dad. My dad is no more. Clever man. She would be yelling out of the kitchen, stop that, stop it. And my dad, he would turn on the volume of the television and turn on the volume so high that he wouldn't be able to hear her yell. Years later, when I was giving a talk, suddenly the story came back to my mind. And I said, there's a lot of volume internally, the volume of our negative memories. I'm not comparing my mom to negative memories, by the way. But that volume, it's not easy to turn that volume down. But what if we can turn the volume of the good things up? What if that volume goes higher so that these things start seeming smaller if they are not smaller? What if I take a flight higher up? The building is not going to grow smaller in size, but as I gain altitude, the building starts seeming smaller to me. Not because the building is not smaller, but I have risen in altitude. I have risen in altitude. You know what I mean? So, which is precisely why I think you can't just delete those memories, they're just a part of us. But I can definitely look at creating good memories, number one. And number two, I can definitely consciously start tuning into the good memories as well. Right? And there's so much, and I have always experienced this thing. The events that happen in our life, they happen only once. Like if I meet a good gentleman, it's just going to happen once. Probably I'm somewhere in the US, I just bump into somebody so good, we probably don't even exchange our numbers, and it was such an incredible experience. I may not meet the gentleman ever again. But guess what? I can relive that experience a zillion times by revisiting it. That's the power of the human potential. To be able to relive the good things that have happened with us. Because reliving the good things surcharges our system with positive hormones. Whereas reliving the bad things is only going to sap us of our, mental energy and our mental space. So I feel tuning into those good memories is very important, and it's a conscious effort. It won't, bad memories, the mind just goes very automatically. But good memories is a conscious effort to bring our minds there. Journaling is extremely powerful, right? Conscious journaling with the intent of tuning into these memories and writing them down just makes us feel reliving it. And that's when these things can seem a little smaller. And then you could have that person coming in front of you and it comes with double the force again. It's not that you're settled forever. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful because that allows us to utilize our potential to grow. I'm basing it, I'm dealing with it, I'm consciously shifting my attention to the good memories. And that's where growth happens. So yeah, that's what I think we can be doing. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you ladies and gentlemen. It's been an incredible time with all of you.